Yeah, the end of the day, and an interesting day. It was day number one, and I've got Sean Pollock alongside to give thoughts with regard to that. And I want to follow on actually from your chit-chat with Kagiso Rabada and talk about how, as a group, they would feel that they bowled.
Yeah, I think chatting to him off air before we did the interview, he was just saying, oh, that last session, those last partnerships were really tough. And, you know, it's trying to get back into the go of Test cricket, and it's warm out there, it's humid, it's difficult for a team. A lot of them are short of a gallop in many ways, just a two-day practice game before playing this Test match. And I think they'll be disappointed. At 176 for 8, they would want to wrap it up 200, 220 max. So to have given them those extra runs and then go and lose that wicket just before the close is a massive blow, and they'll have to really apply themselves. In the context of the game, those 100 runs, when you come to day 4, day 5, when it's starting to spit, that could be really difficult to try and accumulate those 100.
If I asked this question and it said at the start of today, if Sri Lanka were going to get 287, would South Africa be happy if it kind of went the way it did? Not so much in the way they got the runs, but they won the toss and batted first and they get them out for 287.
100%. Lose the toss in the field, and after those first 8 overs, you said, listen, 287, they jumped at it, absolutely jumped at it. But I suppose you can't really go down that route. You have to be a bit of a realist and say, well, we had them in a better condition than that, not to wrap it up. I think there was just almost someone need to put up his hand and say, listen, I've got to try and wrap this up for us. I know they tried the different options and it didn't work out for them, but it was really important, and you never really know what sort of effect it's going to have until 2 or 3 days down the line, and then we'll see whether they're going to live to regret this or not.
Speak about Tabraiz Shamsi. Fantastic. It looked like he got into some sort of rhythm, and he looked like number one spin, and I guess on different days it could be somebody else, but how well did he go? Yeah,
I thought he went really well, and you often hear players talk about how international sport is all about confidence. He picks up a 5 for in that 2-day practice game, comes in here feeling like he can do the job, and he looked to apply himself brilliantly. I was really impressed with the way he started. He used his variations, he bowled with good consistency. He didn't bowl as many bad deliveries as you come to expect from a wrist spinner, so I think he'd be really happy. As he got tired, as the humidity would have got to him by the end of the day, probably bowled a little bit not as well as he would have wanted and gave up those odd bad deliveries. But I think as a second outing and first year in a subcontinent, I think he'd be really happy.
We got a glimpse into what the difficulties would be tomorrow. Look ahead, tell us what you expect from South Africa and the grind, as it were, on a surface like this against the Sri Lankan spinners.
South Africa decided to go with 6 batsmen, didn't they? So to lose one of them at close of play just before the close is a huge blow. There's just 5 of them to come, and obviously the contributions from Maharaj and Vernon will be vital. But I think they're going to see a lot of consistency from their spinners. I think they've got the off spin and the left arm who bowl the bulk of the overs. When things are going well, Sandakan will probably come on with his different variations, try and mix things up. It's going to be a challenge. Lakmal, he's also a class player. He knows how to bowl in these conditions. With a new ball, he'll probably be effective shaping it, and then maybe if it gets to reverse. But they've got their work cut out of them. Not saying you can't get stuck in, but I think they would really be thinking that they want to get at least 350, 400 in this first innings.
Okay. Even South Africa, Sri Lanka after day one.
Yeah, I have to sort of almost balance things up. I'm just trying to think through. I mean, I was thinking South Africa was seriously happy. After that last session and losing the 1 wicket, I'm going to go even Stevens.
Oh, jeez. You took so long to think about that. I thought you'd have had it in your mind anyway. Thank you for your thoughts.
Sure.
We'll see how it goes on day number 2. That's it then for day number 1.